Okay, we're recording. All right, I'm gonna pitch the entirety of the finale for the Amazing Digital Circus right now. Having not seen the movie, we're gonna write the finale right here. Uh, uh,
Okay.
Episode 8 ends with Cain has died, and the world has lost its luster, its color, it's falling to pieces. And they're oh no, what are we gonna do? And uh the world's falling apart, and uh Cain's dead or whatever and gone. I think they're gonna find out that Cain was actually necessary. He was his maniacal machinations were actually keeping reality alive, and they're gonna learn that there is no getting out. This is it. What they can only make of the world, what they can now. They only have each other, and so they need to figure out how to stop the world from falling to pieces before it's too late. And in the process of repairing their little world, they'll also help each other in all their little heart holes along the way. But uh Kinger, the ex A and W worker, what is it? WD-40, um CNA. He's gonna be like, the only person who knew how to fix all this bullshit was Scratch, but he's been absquatulated. And they're gonna figure out how to cure abstraction, and then they'll cure Scratch, and then that'll give them hope that they can cure everybody. And uh I can't remember any of the other characters' names. Help me out here.
Well, what I really hope happens is that it's like Final Destination style. Every part of the main cast
Oh,
gets abstracted one by one. I really hope that happens. I think that would be really funny. It's
the
probably not going to happen,
the crushing
but I think it would be really
reality
funny.
of their demise.
So no
Their
one makes it out
Yeah,
alive.
I
No one
like that
does. That would
because
be funny.
that is true. I'm movie elating this too much because this is supposed to be like uh uh
I don't think that's going to
um
happen because it's not fun enough for a piece of media that
yeah.
really wants to have its per episode mandatory therapizing session. It's not gonna
I
happen.
really want
Though it would be funny.
Scratch is gonna come back and he's gonna be like, "It's the power of friendship. You need to love each other and the world will
Friends we
heal.
made along the way.
It's the friends you make along the way." Yeah, we're gonna get one of those. We have to. We've had them every
There's gonna be
fucking episode.
sacrifice though. I know for a fact that in some aspect
Oh,
Jax is going to be pedestalized, especially
he's
that we got the tiniest, teeniest bit of lore drop with him and Ribbit being a thing. So I think
oh
he is going to have some sort of character redemption arc in the way of sacrificing or choosing to prioritize
yeah.
him and Ribbit as a thing.
Someone's gonna have to be the Kane. That's how they're gonna actually figure out. And Jax will be like, "I guess it'll be me. I guess I'm the one." Or like he'll it's the moment they always do for a character who's supposed to be flippant and uncaring, where they have that one last moment where they're really like, "I guess I'll do it. It's nothing to me, man." But it really is something to him, man. That's supposed to be the little string they
He's about
pluck
to
in our hearts.
walk into the endless black abyss,
Yeah,
and he looks
yeah.
over his shoulder with a smile on his face because he permanently has a smile on his
And he
face, and
says,
he's gonna say,
"I'm thinking
"It
Arby's."
truly was an amazing digital
Oh,
circus," and
yeah.
then he'll walk off the edge and like
Yeah.
explode in a million pieces. I don't know.
Yeah. His eyes get really big because that seems to be the thing, right?
That's just a thing.
Uh, but yeah, I think they have an hour, so I think there's a lot of shit they can't.
They don't have a lot. They don't have a lot of time,
Well,
I
yeah,
think, to explore a lot of what they put down after they actually locked in and figured out their pacing has to kind of speed shit up a bit. They don't have the allotted amount of
oh yeah.
episodes they need
I'm convinced
to
Gangle's not going to do anything. She's gonna
she never
whinge
does.
and
So
moan and
yeah.
then walk off.
She's gonna be our personal Anderdingus and not do anything for the entire movie.
Literally, yeah.
Probably not at all, because no one she doesn't really seem to serve a purpose except for like be that like representation of a certain sector
What?
of the audience of this
I guess,
show.
yeah.
You know what I mean? We need that representation,
Um,
but she does literally nothing.
the movie's gonna remember that Pomni was supposed to be the audience stand-in, and then follow her probably until the end. That's usually what happens with these kind of like character ensemble, like intersecting drama
Well, now we
conflict
have to figure out
farms.
if she's gonna have her character redemption, and is it going to be from Jax
Oh
poisoning
yeah.
her initial character development.
I think the show was trying to spin them as opposites. Jax is all about giving in as deeply as you can, or whatever.
Is she going to lean too hard into Jax's nihilism, like
Yeah,
intentionally pessimistic and hurtful nihilism? And is she going to have a character redemption arc where she has to remember and
yeah.
come to her
It's
senses about what she originally believed in? It's all
we're
about the friendship,
we're
babe.
gonna get the reveal that there's no
Magic.
leaving. That's the I have no mouth and I must scream. Is there's you can't leave. Turns out it is what it
Yeah.
is, and then that's gonna tip Pomni over, and then Jax is gonna be like, ah, shit, this is my bad, isn't it? And then
Also, I bet
along the
Zubul
way,
is going to cause a lot of the more meaningful
oh yeah,
plot direction. There, without shadow of a doubt, that's probably what's going to happen. It's always Zubul.
my out there idea that I don't think is gonna happen, but would be interesting, is now that the circus is ruined and the headmaster's gone and it's up to them now, someone else is gonna join. And then
Enter
our
Rivet
our
or
cat.
Scratch.
Oh, I
Either.
think someone new. We're gonna get
Oh,
a new.
Queenie, wait, Queenie.
That's
She's
true.
gonna come
Yeah,
back. We're gonna have a heartfelt aw moment because Kinger and Queenie
yeah.
are
They're
a
gonna
thing.
cure abstraction because they wouldn't shut up about it. They're gonna cure it.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't
think
even
that's
say
gotta
that
happen.
much the truth.
That's gonna be because what else is Kinger fucking doing in the show other than exposition?
Fuck all
Yeah,
exposition. That's literally
yeah.
what he's there for.
He's got to go
And to
mac
be,
on his queen chess piece wife, right?
yep. All
That's
right.
his little happy ending. And
And
then,
scene. That's the movie.
but then they're gonna see that abstraction can be cured when they fix Scratch to save the day or whatever, stop the universe from turning to mush. And that's when Jax is gonna be like, maybe there is redemption, maybe there is more, and he'll work to bring Ribbit back. But
But
again,
that's going to be his character redemption, is that he's going to sacrifice himself and be the fall
oh
guy
yeah, that'll be
for the rest of the cast. That
because of
is
the
going to be
trouble
his
he's
defining
caused.
character redemption.
He'll bring Ribbit back, but at his own sacrifice.
Yep, there it is.
And then Pomni's gonna be like, "Wow,
That's the movie.
yeah, kid, maybe you weren't so bad after all." They
I like the
all,
idea that Pomni would say that.
I don't know. They're all like that in my head. Like when I am writing the worst version of this.
It's nothing personnel.
Yeah, nothing personnel, kid.
Okay, let's watch the movie now.
Yeah, but also
Tired of hypothesizing.
there's an hour, so I don't think any of that's gonna happen. All right, so that's our
Let's figure
predictions.
it out.
We'll come back after to say whether we were right or wrong. How about that? All right.
Okay.
In 1 hour, go. Okay. All right. So we're 2 minutes from having credits roll. I'm gonna say, for a small scale production, and from what looks like a production being forced into limelight and forced into theaters, probably by studio management, it was a really good 6 out of 10.
You're giving it a 6 out of 10.
I am.
I'm. You might have to convince me. You might have to convince me on a 6 out of 10 for this.
I'm a little disappointed, but
Yeah.
I can still see like the writers and the creators.
I'll give credit. I'll give credit where it's due. I think with all the context and circumstances behind this, I do think they were still able to deliver a somewhat satisfying and fulfilling conclusion to this series. Somewhat.
Yeah, half and half. Well,
bit of a cop out, I think. Bit of a cop out. I know they wanted to do more. That's obvious.
Putting this in theaters was the wrong move.
But our money.
That's
the money.
I think that was a mistake. I think that really was. I don't think the characters, watching a bunch of characters butt heads, it's not what I want to sit in a movie theater for. I get that this is really just a small scale viewing. People who really wanted to see it were going to go see it in theaters, sure.
We had 8 episodes of characters butting heads and not a whole lot of action, and then we had an hour for more action to occur, and we still didn't get a whole lot of action occurring in this hour-long film.
I also, what leaves me a little disappointed is we didn't get to see the characters, like, each of them have a journey. They all just kind of piled in at the end to give their thumbs up. Like, I don't,
I
spoilers,
think their cop
obviously.
out is that their fates are all sort of intertwined, both in real life and in the circus.
Yeah. Uh,
But to me, that is a cop
I'm gonna
out.
say
There is no. I don't.
so. Spoilers, obviously. I guess we'll say for whoever. Uh, the moment that Kinger's like, "Holy shit, we're all copies. There's no getting out." Should have been. We should have seen 5 different reactions based on our various characters.
Hey, let's go over Jack's abstracting how that went down within.
Oh, that's
It does.
true.
It
Uh,
went down within like a second. We don't
I
even get it
think
really any
uh,
like monumental reveal or anything.
it
It just
happened off
happens.
screen, in a single cut at the conclusion of a montage, and we only got to know because one of the characters said,
Because the
"Oh,
characters
damn,
say it.
Jax, why did you abstract?" I did not. I think making him the one that abstracts was a good move because it's unexpected, but you don't present it like that. That's just not the
I think
move.
that fell very flat. I didn't understand that he did genuinely abstract. I thought it was someone else or one of the previous like members of the circus crawling out of a hole. I didn't realize it was
Yeah.
Jax. It was really weird.
Um, guess I'll say it now. Almost all of our predictions were entirely wrong. We jumped way over
Not
the.
all of them. Not all
Yeah,
of them. Look at
but
our bingo card. We almost had a bingo.
that's true. Yeah, okay. But the large scale, like, I thought
I
there was
think
going to
we
be
both
more
have
plot.
movie brain.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. None of this had any like real meaningful like it didn't really follow a plot structure that I'm used to, and not in a good way. You know what I mean? It was just kind of
Um,
nothing burger.
I've seen this type of plot and structure before, but it's weird to see it in an animated medium where like the sky's the limit in terms of scale and space. Um,
We had to usher in the terrible pacing even in this last act as well, which is
yeah.
really weird
This
considering that they
is
picked up the pace halfway through.
this it's weird to call it low budget because it technically is. It's animated by a small crew, a small
Sure.
team, indie.
But they have
Um,
the money to fund this as like a production. They wanted to milk as much money as they could have out of it though.
yeah,
Now that it's coming to an
I'll
end.
say glitch. I have no doubt in my mind that Gooseworks and company were probably pushed into this to get it out of a door for a summer release. Because if anyone's going to sit in a theater and watch this that's outside of a guaranteed fandom, it's going to be people that don't know what to watch during the summer when nothing's out. And so that's probably what happened. I dollars to donuts, there was some form of studio interference with this. Is how it feels. Like it's that sensation. Because I've watched
This is
so
their
many of
cash
those
cow.
movies.
This is
Yeah.
their cash cow. It's obvious to me. And it's disappointing because you can tell that they wanted more out of this, and then yet the pacing reveals,
Yeah.
and then the plot structure, and everything about this production, this final act, kind of is like demonstrative that they didn't really have
Um
the time to
we
do what
have
they wanted to do.
whole characters who don't show up on screen other than to remind you that they were there at one point in the show. Gangle being
Gangle.
the yeah.
Yeah, literally Gangle.
She didn't do anything and then cried about it. And
Did Scratch
then
actually appear in this? Did Scratch
he
appear in this at
showed up
all?
for
Like a second, right?
maybe
In this?
40 frames. That's another pacing. So the um it wasn't bad because we could figure it out, but there are moments of I think what was intended to be like diegetic confusion or like trying to place the viewer in the shoes of a character, like when Kane is discovering his ascension to AI godhood in the circus and he's
The
blooping on the
momentum, it just
cubes.
isn't there. It's just not there.
That whole sequence, I think um they played with time a little bit repeatedly, which I thought in some ways worked. I think there had to have been another draft that had about 20 more minutes. Oh, excuse me, I'm full of soda. I'm full of soda and popcorn from a movie. But there had to be a longer version of this movie, and it either got focus grouped down in runtime or
I just
it
can't
wasn't
understand why
done
they
yet.
would do that. There's no way that we're the only people who feel disappointed by this at the hour that it's currently at.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way.
Um I think they expected to run it for longer and to have a few more episodes, but maybe Glitch Studios needed some bills paid. And so they said, all right, out the
Was that
door.
really the solution they would choose for that?
It feels like it. The choice
Is
to
it
have
because
it
they
in a
really needed
theater,
that burst of money
popcorn
right
buckets,
as soon as they could?
merchandise, Fortnite collab. I bet you. Okay, hold
Oh
on.
god.
I bet
Wait, the
you.
meme.
Here's how this probably would have gone down. If you're gonna have a collab in Fortnite, you've got to have that shit ready like months and months and months in advance.
Oh, this was planned then.
Yeah, forever
For
ago.
money.
And if Fortnite's
They
gonna
needed
put
it.
your stupid little fuckers in their game, you better have something happening next to it that sells people on the skins in Fortnite and vice versa. And so they needed this movie to come out when the skins happened, right? I don't imagine. I'm not gonna blame Epic Games for the Digital Circus finale not
I
being
think they agreed
everything it
because
could be.
it's a popular IP and they like
Yeah,
the money. That's about it.
but like
I'm
the
gonna
lineup
go on a
is
limb and
there.
pin the blame on Glitch. That's about
Yeah,
it, I think.
that's also
Not saying that it's solely responsible for that,
I have no
but
idea what the production structure of Glitch Studios is, other than they're a host for indie shit. I have no idea. I've never looked into it. All I can imagine is it's probably a small scale, like it's no A24, it's no Blumhouse, but it's going to be small scale, and it's going to be people that market, people that network, and then a couple executives who came up with the idea and have some money to throw around. And they're going to want to profit, not probably for the craft, but for the sake of exploiting the craft, which is a little cynical to say, but that's how the entire movie industry works. And we're watching an indie studio try to push something into theaters for what feels like profit and not like the let's get indie on the stage type behavior, what it feels like. But I can't. It's a 6 out of 10, a good one to me, because the movie's shortcomings don't exactly feel like the fault of the creators. It feels like someone in a suit showed up
is
and
that something you can use as a metric for giving your honest rating of this production? Just
uh
as a piece of media. Is that something you can factor in? Are you allowed, genuine question, are you allowed to use that as a factor in
for me as
for your
a
rating?
for how I watch movies, it holds true. I mean, think about Tank Girl.
Because to me at the end of the day, I'm going to look at this media for what it is objectively, and I'm going to still say that I was very disappointed by how it was concluded. I feel like there's a lot left
I
unanswered. I'm
Yeah.
disappointed. Some parts of it I do like, but also it just, for me, this is not a 6 out of 10. This is probably like a 4 or a 5 out of 10
Okay,
to me.
okay, all right.
To me, it is. You
Um
can keep your 6 out of 10 if you want, but
I think the entire Jax arc should have been a penultimate or like a second to climactic episode and not like it. So Jax abstracts and then Pomni just almost looks into the camera and says, I'll handle it, and then goes and handles it. And it's like,
she
well,
literally
hold
says,
on a
I
minute.
can fix him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, word for word. I
I
have
can
that written
fix
down
him.
in my I have a
She
note.
doesn't, she never really does learn from that like, no, you're not actually supposed to fix people and it's not your
Yeah.
responsibility. She just kind of does it, kind of, in a way.
That was
Like,
my other note that just to keep an eye on in the back of my head. What do you take away from
what do
this
you take away
movie?
from this?
What was the what was the director or the writers or the cast and crew trying to impart to their audience other
Therapies.
than
They got
yeah,
therapies. The therapy sessions were the
there
takeaway.
was a
Every
few of
single episode
those.
had one. What do you mean a
Yeah.
few?
Yeah.
We get like at least 2 per episode.
I did like the little micro therapy session where Kane looked at the moon and the moon was like, "It's okay, I love you." And it's like, all right.
Okay. Yay.
Uh, there was a musical number that they, I think they wanted that musical number to hit a little harder so that people would go and look and listen to the song. But I feel
Isn't
bad for
she
it.
lovely?
Well, not that
Why?
one.
Was
That's
that
another
really
one.
necessary? Sorry, but it came to mind because like, did they
Um,
really need to license that song and then put that in there for that?
it was definitely a choice
It was a choice.
to
Yep, it
choose
was a
"Isn't
choice.
She Lovely" montage over a character who had just expressed personal anguish over their external presentation or whether or not
We're
they
not beating
feel
the Jax's trans allegations.
yeah. It, that's something that I think I like. I do and don't like that they didn't conclude Jack's, like, it's for Jax to muddle through as a character. They're not going to look in the camera and be like, "I have decided I am trans," and it's like, or like,
I don't like it because it gives me the feeling that there was a lot of cut
that's
content from
true.
this.
Yeah,
That's mostly how I feel about it. I feel like there's more to this than
there should have
they
been
were
an
able to
episode of
show
Jax,
or got in there. Not to
not
speculate on
muddling, but
anything, but that's just how I feel with
Jax
what I
never
was
had a moment
presented.
to understand or explore their new sense of self in the wake of all that has occurred. They had their moment with Pomni where they're like, "Finally, I'm opening up to you. I'm crying," and then we'll just shove them in the circus tent. Which you did point out, I did like as a little microcosm. They made a tent for the
Yeah, it's like
Jax
a circus.
blog.
I
Sure.
like that they killed Jax and he doesn't come back.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Best
All
part
right.
of it. Best part of the entire finale, in my
Um,
opinion.
I think Kane's redemption was a little bodged. I think it was too quick. I think we needed an episode of Kane making an attempt or spectating the Jax events more explicitly. Because he just kind of shows up and he said, "So I did some Googling." Like, that's kind of how
I
it,
was like, I have a twin. He's just like
yeah,
me.
which I like that perspective of like, all right, we're stuck in this world, but we can at least see what has become of us. That gives them some resolution.
They're giving they've been given autonomy in the wake of Kane's realization. That is satisfying to me, and I am satisfied that they do also get to see their real selves in
Yeah,
lieu of being not real, in lieu of being
and
copies, and that is satisfying to
there
me
is
with what
audience
they have.
satisfaction in that. I think that's what's missing somewhat. You're gonna have your lore hunters or your game theorist type people all the time, but I think I usually don't give much care to whether or not a story decides the audience needs to know every little detail about the world, but I would have liked to know a little more.
That's the thing, though. I was literally thinking this, like, there are open ends. I'm sure there are. I can't remember any of the episodes. I'm not gonna lie, like the fine details, but I am sure
I
there are open ends that are not addressed in the finale. I'm
so
positive.
I'm pretty sure Gooseworks has scrubbed their hands clean of the Amazing Digital Circus. They're done. They're out. They
Babe,
got their finale.
they've moved on to game overs. Welcome back,
Or no,
Pomni, in lieu of
Glitch. I
Kit
know
Bodega.
Glitch Studios moved on to Game Oververse, but like
Is
the
Gooseworks
direct.
not working on game overs?
No, I don't
Yes,
think
she
so.
is. Oh, hold on, let me Google
All
that.
right, okay. But as far as I know, scrubbed her hands clean of Amazing Digital Circus. And I'm wondering if there was a lot of background negotiation with Glitch Studios where they were like, this cash cow's too fucking big. You
My
gotta
bad, she
milk it.
designed the logo.
Oh, okay.
Great.
But it feels, this show feels like someone being like, I'm fed up. I don't know, I have no presence in the fandom or knowledge of how the fandom cares or reacts about this show. So I'm like, if this is how we felt, I'm a little
I
worried.
hate to see how diehard fans of the Amazing Digital Circus received
Yeah,
this whiplash
I'm also
of a
worried
finale.
because like the very nature of storytelling at this scale, and even if you even though it's an indie little thing, it's still at a scale. It has a cast, it has a crew, it had a director, a writer, all of that. um I just know that a lot of the fandom, if they are mad the way we are just gonna be like, Gooseworks fucked us.
I have thoughts about that, and I'm in the same place as you. I'm
I'm
not at all
wondering.
involved with the fandom. I keep my
Yeah.
distance, but I do hear that the general consensus towards Gooseworks is that people are not very happy with the way she handled the leaks. They're not happy about her nonchalant behavior toward that because a lot is at stake. Like the people who worked
And
on the show, the people
that's
who did the boy,
what's
etc. It's negligent to me. I would agree with that,
that's what's
but
leading
I
me to
also don't know like the whole magnitude of it.
my too big for its britches idea. I think this was supposed to just be a fun little semi large scale indie project that was going to go on YouTube every once in a while, and everyone got to have fun watching the little story go. and then it got too
Babe,
big too fast.
babe. My friend mentioned that it's the fucking Counter-Strike flashbangs in the hallway. That's
Oh.
what the Jax abstraction stepped on
Oh, okay.
to launch
Okay.
that
I didn't
whole
quite catch.
Stevie Wonder sequence.
Oh.
Like,
Exterior.
okay,
Got eggs like fish eggs. I can
sure.
exercise you. Door stuck, man.
They're
All right.
stuck. They're
All
stuck.
right. Okay. All right.
Genuine dick sucker.
All right. But knowing how hard it is to make something like this and then also butt heads the entire time with someone bigger
Do you
than
think they did
you
what they could
who's less
with this?
creative, I think this is I say it's a 6 out of 10, but a good one, because this wasn't the best thing we could have gotten, but I do think it could have been worse from how it was playing out on screen.
I guess they did about kind of the minimum. It is the minimum because they gave us at least a little bit of satisfaction with
Yeah.
what they could do. I will acknowledge that.
So
Still don't really like it. I think I'm okay. I'm within my right to not like it. I think a lot of people share the same opinion as me.
I'm disappointed, but I'm not like angry or like, what the fuck was that? I'm not. That sensation.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I don't have
me.
a pitchfork and like a fucking flaming torch or anything. But I agree with you. I'm definitely still disappointed with the way this panned out.
Fucking Gangle, man. Fucking nothing.
Absolutely nothing. We're giving absolutely nothing at all times.
My
It's
name's
kind of sad.
Gangle Dingus. Like that type of fucking.
Quite literally, it's the anger dingus of this movie.
Yeah. I'm trying to in my head. I'm trying to chart the tunnels all our characters took to the end of the show, and whether or not
did Zubul really just need like a love interest or like a meaningful, intimate connection with a cast member.
There's a theme that dances around of like you need someone to care about. Not so much like you need someone to care about you, but like
why is it never you need to care about yourself? Why was it that we need?
There's a little bit of that.
Pomni, I can fix him. Why can't we have a character who genuinely does believe in themselves and that's their defining motive? Is that they need to care for themselves? Because it's the fundamental principle of anything, right? But instead, a lot of it is genuinely just focused on like interpersonal relationships between the characters. I kind of don't like that.
For characters I relate to, I do relate to Jax, unfortunately, and not in the way that you're thinking, but like just the idea of just internalizing all your turmoil, and it kind of spatters back out at those around you. I had a lot of that coming out of high school. What I don't like
my mom. He's just like
well, yeah, honestly, that's true. But what doesn't read great, and I think in singularly as a character existing in a universe, it's fine. But in my writer brain, I'm like, someone sat down and chose this for this character. I think it's odd that abstraction seems to be a form of cessation of life. It's an analogy for death, or even in this case, when it's the loss of will to keep persisting, maybe even self-termination.
Dare I say it might be a form of regression?
Or I don't.
In a way, like perhaps emotional regression.
I would have liked some clarity
beyond
on that,
the point.
It feels weird that our one, like,
I don't like that. Also, we don't really get the circumstances, and the stakes of abstraction is not purely defined to me.
If you look at the from a gender and sexuality perspective of our characters in this show, Zubul seems secure in their self, but then you have we have a character, Jax. We have a character who is struggling or muddling through their sense of self, a discovery of that self, and it ends with what seems to be some form of self-termination or cessation of life in the form of abstraction. And that's an odd, it's the they got chased from their home and they were so mentally ill and without the structures to support them that they killed themselves. And it's just doesn't read, or I didn't vibe with that.
It's lost. I think it is a lost plot point and character.
That's a very significant and very intense thing to what feels like stumble through. And I think that's a very unfortunate loss for something like this. It was a perspective.
On the contrary, I don't miss Jax.
That's
It's
also
weird.
true.
It's weird. It's weird because they chose the most unlikable character, and then they gave him that fate. It's a weird
Yeah.
discussion of that. I'm not sure how I should feel about that. Also, because I don't like Jax as a character, right?
Yeah.
So it's weird. I'm at conflict with that because I can relate to his character. It's weird, and then I don't like him, and then he basically just dies at the end.
Yeah.
Like, how am I supposed to feel about that?
Also, what I also kind of don't like is when they're like, so we managed to pacify Jack's abstracted.
Mhm.
Jack abstracted. Trying to figure out a good portmanteau.
Yes, Jax distraction
Ribbit, Kaufmo, all the other ones, fuck them. They get to stay
and Scratch.
horrible beasts.
Scratch.
Yeah, abstracted or Scratch. Yeah, just
We don't
fuck
even. They even they're painting a mural, and we get to see other
Yeah,
circus
look at all these
members
suckers.
that are just dead.
Oh yeah,
Sounding a lot like Jax there, babe.
yeah. But there was in my head, I can see strings of one more episode in between Kane's revelation and Jax's, I guess what you would call like fall or plummet. There's something in between that would have overlapped those, and then Glitch Studios said, "You got to get this bitch out by summer," and so they just
I think they just fumbled this, and it probably wasn't their fault.
I'm staying optimistic that it's studio interference. It'll be interesting to see
That's
what the
I'm
post
saying.
like if there will ever be a postmortem, what it'll be. It's not a
There's
big
gotta be
studio.
spin-off media though, right?
I don't know if this is cynicism brain. It made too much money. It put Glitch on the map because I have no idea if you the only one I know is Game Overs, but that's because people are too weird about the main character, and also it's just made by the Game Grumps guys or whatever. I could not name you a single other Glitch production studio anything. This is the one that like broke
them on the map.
Yeah. And it's over. Like that's kind of how I feel. As I'm like, well, that was it.
Rest in peace, Jax, and everyone else that objected. That's it. Show's over. Go home, everybody.
But I think it's a very good 6 out of 10 because I didn't feel like my time was totally wasted, and it was a good watch through that I'll probably only watch the one time. I don't want to say, God, I need to watch that all again. I don't. I'm good.
For me, it was very, I guess, and then I put it down and walk away forever.
Yeah, that to me, that's a 6 out of 10.
To me, it's probably a 4 out of 10. I wasn't very happy about it, but it is. I guess it is what it is.
All right, so it's an average 5 out of 10 with a thumbs up.
Okay. I'll do the little halfway jazz hand thing.
That's the Amazing Digital Circus. Ta-da! All right.